We are going for a whole hour, straight dog talk and the song. Jump on in and speculate. Show up on time, don't be weak and late. We are community, so don't hate, and learn to cooperate.
Welcome to Monday Bully Live. We do this every Monday at 8 p. CST Central Standard Time. Tonight, we're going to be talking about American Bully flaws. My apologies. I'm all over the place today. Today, we're going to be talking about American Bully flaws. And not just American Bully flaws. We're going to be talking about when they first appear, what are the usual causes, and what can we do to correct. Now, before I continue, I will, just for the sake of saving time, we're not going to get into saying, okay, it's genetic. We can all agree before we even get started that if something is genetic, there's not much that you can do to fix it. Okay. It's genetic, it's pre-programmed, and that's how you're going to get it. Okay. So in order to get this conversation started, let me start up bringing in my guy, Michael Higginson. Money Mike, what's up, bro?
Money Miguelito, man. What's
Hey,
up?
Miguelito. Hey, Miguel. By the way, I call Money Mike. So I try to give my English-speaking friends Spanish names that translate somewhat to what their name is like. So in Michael Higginson's case, he is Miguelito Hernandez. Miguel Hernandez, right?
Yep. And I'm proud of it. Hey, that's a good name for me. Good Spanish name.
Hey, Money Mike, I heard there was some good news out of your neck of the woods, man. Go ahead. Let us have it.
Man, we're super excited over here at QBN Kennel, man. I tell you what. So last night was the winter solstice, longest night of the year. And Freya, we had our Freya and Hector puppies. So the solstice litter is here. And we had six boys and 5 girls born in this litter, and they're amazing pups, man. I haven't slept in 2 days. I've been up all night. I might have got a little catnap.
Look at that smile. Look at that breeder smile. I haven't slept in 2 days with the smile ear to ear, man.
Yeah. It's been a tough night, man. It's been a long, it's literally the longest night of the year, but definitely long for us as well. Man, really impressed with the pups. They look great. Can't wait to show y'all one. Baby, bring me a pup. I'll show y'all one real quick. Yeah, but they just Freya's doing real good as a new mama. It's her first litter.
Good deal.
And there's a little bit of a learning curve. That big litter, 11 pups, wore her down pretty good. At one point, she was even sitting there, just sitting down and falling asleep, and started to follow her.
Yeah, man, he was telling me.
Sleepy. Yeah, but she's done really well. And some of the things she was struggling with, like knowing to clean their butts enough and things like that, was something that she was working on. And now, into the second day, she's getting a better hang of that. So
good deal. Yeah, I usually I don't regulate any of that. I usually let the dogs just, because sometimes you will have a female that just had pups, and she's gonna lick one puppy alone for like 25 straight minutes. Oh, yeah, there you go. Let me see. Oh, wow. Look at that, man. That's a beauty. Is that a boy or a girl?
This is a girl, believe it or not.
Wow. And, look at that head. Nice headpiece.
She looks like a guinea pig almost.
Nah, I wouldn't say that. More like a baby rhino.
Look at these hams on her, man.
Yeah, man.
She does. Yeah, they just they have that beautiful head shape, and
good deal.
I'm just really proud of this little girl right here. We're gonna name her Goldilocks.
Goldilocks.
Yeah, this is our little Goldilocks right here.
Hey, man, that's it goes with it, man. She definitely is blonde, man.
Yeah, she is beautiful. Thank you.
That's it. So, Mike, now that you have a litter on the ground, and you just had recently another litter on the ground, so I mean, you've been around the show ring a bit. you are having an understanding as far as confirmation. I'm sure you've gone to the ABKC website and compared and all that good stuff. What we're here for tonight is for all that stuff that you can't, that you don't get. Like, no one's going to point you in that direction, first of all. Second of all, where people can't BS you. We know that right now online, there's 1,000,001 people trying to act like they know what they're doing. And, you know, at the end of the day, they really don't know what the hell they're doing. So that's why we have this platform and we're going live tonight. We're answering questions live. I mean, it doesn't get any more truth-finding or truthfulness or transparent than this right here. Now, there are things that happens to all yards, and I want to say to all American bullies, because there's no such thing as a perfect American bully. No one has them. Let me tell you what we do have. Breeders that have been breeding for a while. We either have a routine, a technique. We found a way to improve certain faults, the way they look, based on what nutrition to give, what to take out, what to exercise, what not to do, that sort of thing. That's what we're going to be comparting here. Okay. Like I said earlier, if you want to sit there and say it was Westy based on genetics, yeah, okay, well, we can't fix it. So we're going to bypass that. And we're going to say, okay, there's Easty Westy there. But mom is not East-West, neither is dad. And we feel that the breeder has kept the pup overweight. Okay, now we can do a couple of things. A couple of advices of things to do that are going to help your dog situation. I will say this, and Mike, I want you to agree or disagree with me with this statement. The sooner you jump on a problem, the easier or the better odds or the better results you will get in fixing it. Would you agree with that statement?
I do, man. The body gets in bad habits. And
yes.
If you have, for example, weak pasterns on a dog, you can correct that right off the bat and strengthen those pasterns. But if, you know, and not that it can't be done later, not all dogs fit in that box, but much better chance of completely correcting an issue like East-West that's not genetic or weak pasterns.
Yes.
You know, if you get on top of it.
Let me give you guys an example, right? So again, this is a dog's top line, right? The back, the body size, right? So what ends up happening is this dog grows, but his front pasterns have dropped because he's a little too heavy. So obviously we need to fix this and correct it. But one of the reasons why it becomes very hard once you've allowed a situation where your dog looks like this, you let it go for 8, 9 months. The reason it becomes so difficult is because the dog's biomechanic, meaning the way he's walking and the way he's moving, has now adjusted to this to bring him out of this. It can get pretty complicated.
It's comparative to somebody slouching. If a person
right.
slouches, they might have a straight spine. You slouch long enough, you can change that.
Yeah, this is true. With time, your biomechanics. So with time, let me tell you what happens when you have a puppy that's starting to walk around like this and you're letting it go on. What's going to happen is, what's happening, first of all, if the pasterns haven't dropped in the front, what it means is the rear legs, the femur more than anything, is probably growing a little bit too fast. Now, again, we spoke about genetics. Now, obviously, I'm not going to bring that into the conversation, but I do want to bring it in for this one thing. This is why it's important for you to be able to identify what type of dog you're breeding to. This dog that I'm showing right here on the screen, that is a dog that has a lot of mastiff influence, and you can see it in the rear. It is so weak, it is yelling at you. That is not an American Bully rear in any which way you want to see it. This is why it is very important, guys, right? to not get caught up in the hype and start breeding the dogs just because they got a big name. Because a lot of times you're going to get a front picture where the dog looks like this. And you're like, yeah, I want me some of that. The problem is they're not going to show you the side picture when the dog is looking like that. And once you bring that in, that is very hard to fix because those back legs have now stretched. You can't shorten them. And if these front legs don't stretch out with the same rate as the ones in the back, you're pretty much screwed. So if your dog already has the back leg stretched and the front pasterns are dropped and they're having, and you come to me and you're showing me a rear like this, like it's a mastiff rear, I'm going to tell you right now, it's not what you want to hear, but it's what you need to hear. You need to pet home this dog or make it a pet, get it out of your breeding program and start over. Why?
We've said forever that rear mechanics are one of those things. Like if you're gonna pick something to incorporate in your program right from the beginning, it needs to be right under temperament. Should be rear mechanics, because that whole rear end assembly is so hard to fix if you don't have it right off the bat.
It has many moving parts and many tendons holding things together. And it's got all these bones, right? And any one of them is a little bit longer by a millimeter, throws everything else off. So what I would tell you in a situation like this, and I know what you're all thinking, well, Raul, isn't breeding about correcting? It is, but here's the situation. If I had a male or a female that was looking like this, I already know it's going to take me 3 generations to fix that rear. When I say fix the rear, guys, so we all understand each other, it doesn't mean I'm going to do one breeding and there is one puppy that has a perfect back and I can now proclaim that I have fixed the problem. You haven't fixed anything. Okay, more likely than not, you did an outcross, which helped you because now you cleared that fault for that one puppy. But now you have to deal with hybrid vigor, which means the puppy doesn't push anything that looks like him unless you're bringing it back to a line breeding of sorts, or maybe even an inbreeding. Okay, just throwing that out there. But I am not going to spend 3 generations fixing anything. In this case, it's this particular rear. The reason I'm saying it's going to take you 3 years is because you basically have to scrap a mastiff rear and put an American Bully rear on that. So I am predicting it's going to take 3 generations. If females, if we were to round it to 2 years per generation, we're talking about 6 years to fix. I don't have that sort of time.
Not when you can just start over. That particular thing, I hope people understand what it is you're saying there. It's like all dogs have flaws, and so you're going to start with some. But that's one you don't want to start with because it's going to be a lifetime before you can fix it. Better off to start with it on track. That's one of those things, you can shorten the muzzle. You can get rid of east-west. You can change your skull shape a little bit. Even that one takes a couple sometimes. But the rear mechanics, man, that whole rear assembly, really to have, even a good forechest is something you can bring in pretty easy.
Correct.
But that rear assembly, man, it's sticky.
It's just a lot of things. I agree. I will say this too. For those of you that are wanting to know, that are having rear issues, let me give you some insight. Okay. So one of the main things that will afflict American bullies is hip dysplasia. Okay. Now, before you jump off a bridge or whatever, hip dysplasia, more likely than not, I could tell you through OFA, your dog has to be 2 years old before they establish that your dog has hip dysplasia. Pen hip, I do know that with 10 months, they're able to put a rating on your dog's hips. I can't tell you how accurate they are or not. I haven't really worked with pen hip. I've heard good things about them. I don't know how soon they do it, but I cannot think that they are able to do it any later than 2 years. and seeing that they do their ratings way before, you're going to have to check with them directly.
I'd like to hear the details on it, but in my mind,
Yeah.
if the dog's bone plates haven't sealed, how can you say for sure the condition of all those things,
Well, here's the, and I'm trying to be fair, Mike. I'm just trying to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, they may, like I said, they may have a way that they do it.
It's okay. So the whole dysplasia, hip dysplasia situation is nothing more than a situation where you have a ball going into a socket, and you're able to see that under, through an X-ray. You're able to see that. If this is the ball and this is the socket and you're seeing no space, that's something that can be seen and verified. The minute you see spacing in that socket where there's play, you already know this dog is going to suffer from possible hip dysplasia and or if not arthritis in due time, because that little play you see there with time, okay, it's kind of like them older cars from the 80s and 90s. You start, you're on the steering wheel and you have a little bit of play on the steering wheel, and 2 years go by, and next thing you know, you have to do all this just to get the car to barely turn. It kind of works the same way with the socket and the ball. If there's a little bit of spacing with time, as that ball keeps moving in that socket, it keeps wearing it to the point where it's just pretty much moving around inside. So how soon can you notice anything? Well, based on the book, it says anywhere between 4 and 12 months. Okay, as the puppy's growing, you can see manifestations sometimes of lameness and or awkward gait. Okay, moving the rear kind of like in an awkward sense. More times than not, favoring one side over the other. Okay. The one thing I've seen, and I saw it with a litter, they were 6 weeks old. Somebody hit me up. He had 3 puppies out of an entire litter that out of nowhere started limping. Mm-hmm. And I told him, I said, bro, that's usually not a good thing at 6 weeks. Unless, I'd much rather the puppy break a bone. At least I know what to blame it on. But when you see a puppy limping, especially being lame in the back legs, oh man, that's usually not a good thing. So long story short, puppies at 6 weeks, 3 of them started limping. A week later, it was all gone. Everything was great. I knew better. And I hate to be, shitting on people's parade or anything like that, but I know that once that socket has made a little bit of room in there to be able to move and play with, it's just a matter of time before
there's no going back.
Yeah, it's just a matter of time. The body's going to respond. It's going to throw a little bit more cartilage in the area and this and that. But once you have that play, it wasn't meant for that to be there. Once it's there, it's going to wear it out.
Best thing you can do in all these we're talking about is get ahead of them from the very beginning. That our breeds have propensities for these different things. And the best thing you can do is take precautions immediately, right off the bat.
I agree with you. And we're going to get into that here in a second. Mark Mincy is saying, is it okay to breed a bully with a kink tail, Money Mike? Would you breed a bully with a kink tail?
For me personally, and I cut my teeth right here at QBN, and this is the thing, that's an issue of the spine. And even if you have a litter with a dog with a kink tail and you hide it, you think you hid it, it shows up in other places that are under the hood, so to speak. Show up in different organs and in the eyes and in different parts of the body that you may not know right off the bat. It could wind up being a worse thing than an actual kink tail on a dog.
This is correct. Real quick, shout out to my dude, Caleb Weddle. He makes up part of the Tuesday night bully talk, along with this guy sitting here next to me, Amanda James Dixon, Bruce Lang, and anybody else sticking their head up in there. Make sure to tune into them tomorrow at 8 p.m. CST. They always go live. They always bring in great topics. So make sure.
Then they come here
hit it
with
up.
us on the first Monday of every month. We do the round table.
That's it. Yeah, we do the round table. We just did it this last month, right before Nationals. Was one of the best lives we had. I can't wait for that first week in 2026
Right.
to see what we come up with. Let's see, man. I'm trying to answer some questions here that have come up. Man, Mike, you got a lot of people congratulating you, man. I love seeing that, man.
Yeah, thank y'all. Thank everybody.
Okay, so he asked about the King Tail. We said no. Oh, there we go. My dude, Angel Chavero. Nothing but love, man.
Angel, what's up, baby?
My dude went to Nationals, man. Excellent showing, bro. Good stuff out there, bro.
Angel's a great guy, man. He's that guy right there. He's self-made. He has done his thing. I'm proud of him.
Yeah, man. Excellent stuff, man. Insaratha is saying pen hip can be done at like 5 months, but I'm iffy about that. It costs more than OFA hips, but it's earlier. I'm sure that they have a claim as to why they can do it earlier. But I will say, like Mike, if your bones have not sealed, can we truly call it X until we get there? That's all I'm saying. Black Light Bully saying, hey, fellas, what's up? Caleb, I appreciate the show. Man, you got it, man. You know it, number love. Flaming 8 Bullies. All right. Maurice Hoffman, in a young puppy, as he or she grows, when does the bone plates come together? And okay, excellent question. Let's talk about that. So,
a little longer with the XLs, right?
Yeah, well, medium-sized breeds and XLs. So I want to say standards and XLs. You can include classics probably in that statement too. It's going to be, honestly, at 20 months, the bones are already starting, or they're probably like a 90-95% seal at that point. But if you really, really, really wanted to go like by the book, wait until 2 years before you get your dogs to pull on something or jump hard, jump off of something that's really tall, because those bone plates, right? They don't seal until the dog is, between 20 and 24 months old. And so what ends up happening is, and it happens a lot in our community, you have a lot of people that are new, they're excited, they're motivated, and all of a sudden they want to compete because, make no mistake about it, everyone in this community is competing with one another, whether we like it or not. It's a marathon, it's not a sprint, but we're all competing one way or another. All right. And what ends up happening is you get overly excited, and now you start pumping weight into your puppy. Now, a puppy that should be walking around weighing 20 pounds, you're making it weigh 35 pounds because it makes your ego feel good that you can show off this dog. It's so much bigger than your neighbor's dog. Problem you have is those bone plates not sealed. And when they haven't sealed, they will shift. Remember how I spoke earlier? What happens when your dog does this? When your dog does this, you're even if it's a puppy, you want to correct this immediately. You want to start correcting measures immediately. You don't want to give this 2, 3, 6, 7, 8 months. If the bones seal like this, don't come calling me. I'm letting you know already. It's a little too late for that. So what happens in a situation like this is the front legs, even though you have down pasterns, you're also going to have bones that are probably going to shift to compensate for this stressor that the dog has, because now the dog's, check it out. If this is the head, by the way, if the dog's head is this much lower than the rear, is it a front wheel drive car or is it a rear wheel drive?
It's going to be front wheel drive 100%.
No, it's going to be rear. No, Mike. It's going to be completely rear.
Your front would get bigger and the rear would get smaller though, right?
No, you're pushing off your rear to move forward. Okay, everything.
Okay.
Basically, the dog is walking backwards. You're going to see it a lot with pockets.
because it's pushing from the back. I see
Yeah,
what you're saying.
a lot of pockets have a higher rear, right? And what ends up happening is they're pushing off the rear, and their short, stubby little legs are trying to catch up with what's being pushed from behind. Okay. Anyways, my point was not to take a shot at pockets or anything like that. My point is that the minute you do this, because now you have a rear drive vehicle, not only are you trying to fix the down pasterns to try to straighten out the dog, once you do that, you now need to teach this dog to walk four-wheel drive rather than front-wheel drive or rear-wheel drive. You see where I'm coming from. So it becomes that much more complicated. One of the things I wanted to share with you, and you already knew I was going to talk about it, was going to be Nuvet, the green bottle, and NuJoint DS. It's completely 100% natural. I came across a situation where I used to feed, or I was feeding my puppies at the time, Victor, what is it, the teal bag. And yeah, and let me rewind. I was feeding them raw, and I switched them to the teal bag. Within 48 hours, it was a total disaster. Their arms were bending like I can't even begin to explain. Their pasterns, they lost total stability. I switched back. I gave large amounts of vitamin C. I gave large amounts of glucosamine, chondroitin, MSM. MSM is an anti-inflammatory, by the way. And the more you learn about dogs, the more you're going to learn that anti-inflammatories are actually going to help your dog not only become bigger and more muscular, but it's going to help with the adjoining joints so that you don't have these problems going forward. The American Bully breed, for example, is a breed where muscularity is something that we're all wanting. It's part of the breed standard, right? The problem you have is you might not have a dog with a high rear. In fact, you might have a dog that walks perfectly straight, but now you added an additional 15 pounds of muscle on this dog. That's 15 pounds more of wear and tear that he or she wasn't ready for. That's where Nuvet NuJoint DS comes in, okay? Whether it's dietary, Easty, Westy, whether it's even skin issues, whether it's an absorption issue,
immune system
NuJoint DS, they make it happen. Not only that, guys, when you get the green and the blue bottle, you get 13% off with auto ship. I recommend 1 green, 2 blues every 90 days. Why? Because the green bottle is a 90-day supply that you take daily. Blue bottle is weight-based, okay? So
well, before we skip too far past that, just to look at the other side of that same coin for people to know. So what he's also saying in saying that is, yes, you can buy a top-notch, very expensive, perfect little puppy and
ruin it.
And just ruin it. You know, you're like, man, this is the great pedigree, and you know, like all the puppies look good. Like, what happened? Well, it can be very, very much to do with dietary issues.
Yeah,
no, dog that trash, man. You can ruin one for sure.
You can definitely ruin a dog. Somebody had asked a question about knuckling over. Let me bring this up real quick, guys. So, and I'm going to look for the most exaggerated picture just to show you guys. This is knuckling over. Now, you can see it in many different ways, okay? But if you see where the knuckle is coming over the paw, that's why they call it knuckling over. The main reasons that I have found that knuckling over happens with American Bullies is because you're feeding too high of protein.
Yep.
Too high of protein.
I actually dealt with that on this last litter. I had 2 males that were the 2 biggest males in the litter, and I'm feeding them all the same, but one of them's kind of a hog, and it got a little too much protein, and I started to notice a little bit of the weakness and the rolling forward a little bit. Yep. And then I also noticed the elbows kicking out just a little bit. So we cut the protein down and cut his caloric intake in half with rice, and added
Wow.
rice and corrected it within less than a week.
Man, you were flying with it, man.
Yeah.
I love the fact that you flew right on top of it, bro.
It took it. Well, it really, I didn't expect it to correct it. It only took about a week to correct it, but I started to see those elbows kick out a little bit, and it's a weakness in the pastern as well. It's not just the knuckling over. I started seeing a tremor,
Right.
and like a tendency to roll in the wrong direction a little bit, and I was like, And true enough, man, just a dietary thing. Too much protein, cut it back and fixed it.
So let me ask you, and I know Arkansas is one of them states that has excellent gun laws. Do you carry? Do you open carry, Mike?
I do not, but it's hard to find somebody around here that doesn't.
You know who else open carries? Carrie Atkins. Carrie Atkins just became a new member. Come on, Hollywood.
Pues claro que sí, cabrón.
I just faked everybody out on the set, guys. I'm sorry. Hollywood's looking at me like, what the heck? Yeah, Carrie, nothing but love. Appreciate you. Thank you for joining us. We do this every Monday at 8 p. Central Standard Time. Thank you for joining us. Please ask questions. We're going to answer all member questions, the ones with that little symbol next to the name, before the live is done. All right. We got the what is it? Bakari. I'm sorry, the Bakari. All right. We got him in the house. Jonathan Maldonado. What's good? What's a good weight for a 10-month-old pocket? Okay, Jonathan, listen, brother, I'm not trying to be facetious or anything like that. I can't answer that. There's pockets that are going to be walking around at 10 months looking great at, I don't know, 65 pounds, and others that look great at 80. I don't know. I can't answer that. It takes
a lot of variables within that question.
It takes so much more. Yeah, it takes so much more for me to be able to answer that, my friend. Christina Higginson, yes, you can. Great live tonight. Great info. Thank you, ma'am. Jair Graham, I did the same, Mike. Okay. He's talking about for the correcting. Happy winter, fans. Merry Christmas, Miss Shea Tree. Nothing but love. Haven't seen you out here for a minute. D. Taylor, Miss Christina, he may not, Raul, but his wife does. Wow. I don't know what we're talking about, but okay. Ahoy, everyone.
We don't know. Kyle does.
All right. Oh, concealed. Oh, okay. I got it. That's what we're talking about. Concealed. Carry concealed. Listen, talking about concealed, let's talk about a flaw that oftentimes gets overlooked. And I see it, at least for the XLs, I see it so often. I can't say I see it enough with pockets or standards. And I feel that you don't see it enough because there's more bulldog influence. That's my theory. I could be wrong. And I'm talking about none other than elbow dysplasia. Let me see if I can bring up a picture here so we could all see what we're talking about, what elbow dysplasia is like with a dog. But a lot of times we're so caught up with the hip dysplasia that I'm trying to get a picture of a dog showing it. I hate it when they do this. Elbow dysplasia. Let me put American Bully. I hate it when they do this because right now they're just showing me x-rays. And
we've talked about it here on the show before about dysplasia being as much.
Okay, here we go.
Debate whether it's more environmental or more genetic, but it can definitely be both.
We have a picture here, so let me bring it in so we can all attest to what I'm talking about here. So that you see this dog right here on the screen. If us facing it, me facing the picture, his leg on my right, meaning the dog's left, that elbow coming out that way. Now, mind you, the dog is not stacking. He may just be kind of, moving around kind of wonky, but nonetheless, elbow dysplasia is going to look something like that, where the elbow's sticking out. Elbow dysplasia is one of those things that's going to pop up. Usually emerges between 5 and 8 months. And the reason it emerges around that time is because it is around that time that your puppy's head, shoulders, and chest are going to get their first little bump, right, in growth. And when you grow, obviously you're going to add weight. And so you're adding all that extra weight in that one in the front legs. One of the things you're going to see is possibly limping. Say, for example, you accustom yourself to taking your dogs. Say you have 2 dogs and you take them to the park and they run around. And but this time you took that 5-month-old pup and he ran around like he normally did, didn't do anything out of the ordinary. But the following day or even later on that night, they start to limp on you. Okay. A lot of times people are like, oh, no, it'll just go away. Listen, if you're seeing an injury off of something that the dog has done over and over and over 100 times before, those are the moments in time that you got to kind of put your foot on the brakes and kind of figure out what's really happening. Because a dog is, from just jogging around in the park like he normally does, they're not going to get injured. What are the main causes outside of genetics? Uneven growth. And check this out. Uneven bone growth from nutritional imbalance. Uneven bone growth, okay? Uneven bone growth from nutritional imbalance. So remember we were just talking about too much protein causes knuckling over? Well, let's talk a little bit about that, because in a way, what's happening with that knuckling over is an imbalance in diet that is causing the knuckling over. So what I have found, and this is the part where, the ABKC ain't going to tell you this. Neither is, one of these little made up Mickey Mouse breeders that out of nowhere, all of a sudden they think that they're breeders. You're not going to get it from them. You're going to get it from me. Okay. I've been shooting this out now for the last 10 years, and I'm going to shoot it out right now. And that is high protein, right? In the American Bully breed. Okay. It's going to cause weaker soft tissues. That includes ligament, tendons, and cartilage. You don't believe me? Go buy yourself some high protein, feed it to your dogs, and within 3 days, you're going to see what knuckling over is all about.
That's why we recommend for the American Bully that not even feed the puppies puppy food, because usually puppy food on the shelf has got a higher protein content, and
yes,
you're putting your dog in the wrong direction right off the bat, following labels at the store.
Well, that's another thing that we do here, and I've spoken about. And those of you that are hearing us, I hope you're able to make this switch and it works for you like it works for us. And that is one of the things that we do whenever we're going to feed kibble to our pups. Now, I'm all about raw, but there are times, and I can tell you, last week I could barely get off my bed because I hurt my back. I have a back issue. I hurt my back. I could barely get off my bed. My dogs had to eat kibble, whether I liked it or not. That's just the way it had to happen. So what do we do when we fall into those circumstances? We're going to make sure that our puppies are going to eat large breed adult kibble.
Right.
Why? Why large breed adult kibble? I'm going to tell you why. Because large breed, their bones are less dense than smaller dogs. Your Chihuahua's bones are more dense than your American Bully XL. You might not believe it because your Chihuahua is tiny, but the smaller the dog, the more dense that the bones are going to be. And therefore, in order for those bones to be more dense, you have to feed higher amount of calories per weight to be able to get that. However, for puppies, in order to sidestep issues, right, that are going to make them grow unbalanced and all that good stuff, rather than going with the higher dense food, which would be puppy food, we go with large breed adult, right? Because we find that it doesn't aggravate the problems we have. Why would I say something like that? I say something like that because there are numerous things that are going to cause the dog to grow faster than it can afford. Okay. What do I mean by that? What I mean is if you start feeding a puppy meat and fat, just meat and fat in abundance, you're feeding chicken quarters in abundance, in abundance, in abundance. What that does, fat and meat, because the insulin level does not rise. Notice we didn't say we're feeding carbohydrates. So protein and fat do not increase the insulin level in the blood. Why is this important? Because the IGF-1, okay, IGF-1 competes with insulin as to who's going to be in the blood. So when insulin has to be thrown into the blood to lower the blood sugar, the IGF-1 or the growth hormone cannot be in the blood.
So carbohydrates and or sugar is hindering the progression of the IGF-1 hormone, right?
Correct. And if you're smart and you understand that you're able to manipulate certain things. So, Money Mike, you got yourself a puppy. And, first month comes around and he's looking like this. Second month rolls around, he's looking like this. Third month rolls around and he's starting to do you one of these right here. Now, you call me up, you're going to be like, Ralph, what the hell's going on? I'm going to say, hey, them rear legs are growing a little too quick, Mike. What are you feeding? I'm feeding puppy kibble. Well, no, Mike, we're not going to feed puppy kibble. We're going to go with large breed, right? Large breed adult dog food, because the amount of calcium, protein, and fat is not as high, and it's not going to trigger the IGF-1 in order for it to grow faster, right? The minute you have a situation like this, guys, you don't want growth. Oh, let's grow faster so this will catch up. Nah, it doesn't work that way. No. Once you have this situation, you want to put your brakes on growth. When you have a situation like this, feeding a little carbohydrates here and there is not the worst thing, because it's going to put the brakes on the IGF-1, allow everything to catch up a little bit.
The American Bully definitely doesn't need any help in the wrong direction to get the bones to outgrow the soft tissue. We combat that in our breed automatically.
Yep. This is true. This is true and correct. You know what else is correct, Money Mike? And I'm telling Hollywood right now to be looking at the screen, because one thing that is true is that Uriel Blanco.
Pues claro.
Yo, Hollywood.
Pues claro que sí, cabrón.
What's going on, Hollywood? Oh, my God, Hollywood, man. And Uriel, nothing but love, man. Appreciate you for joining us. We do this every Monday at 8 p.CST. Today, we're talking about dog flaws. Please feel free, if you have any questions, to drop them, man. What's up, guys? Says Christian Nidaheta. Calcium, says Black Light Bullies. I'm not sure. Calcium question. Nutrition and environment. There are some flaws that are going to be caused by environment. It's the nature of the beast. There's some flaws that are going to be caused by nutrition. There's some flaws that are going to be caused by both. So let me give you an example of an environmental flaw, which is one of the most common flaws I see within the American Bully, irregardless of which class, and that's cowhawks. Yes, cowhawks. A lot of times, let me rewind. Let's bring it up and let's find out what cowhawks is together. This way we can all be on the same page, right? American Bully, cowhawks. And the reason I put American Bully on there is so if there's an ABKC, okay, this will work. All right. So this is cowhawks right here, guys. All right. So you're going to see the cowhawks and the bunny hopping on a puppy that is less than 3.5 months old, and that's not necessary reason for alarm. Okay, usually 3.5 months or younger, they're going to do a little bunny hopping here or there. Okay, every now and then you should see them take a different type of step. It shouldn't always be bunny hopping, but at 3.5 months, That's fine. Now, cowhawks, do they really affect your dog? They kind of do. They do, because cowhawks means that your dog's rear is weak. It means the accessory muscles, whatever's going on back there, it's weak. Okay. Now, can the dog still run? Yeah, the dog's going to be able to run, jump, do just about everything. But when it comes down to it, what it means is your dog has a weak. You're
gonna have parts pushing and pulling with the wrong things when you have something like that going on. And anytime the movement of the dog it's push and pull coming from the wrong places, it's a chain reaction. It really throws the whole dog off.
The other thing I'm going to say, and I said it was environmental, a lot of people have American Bully XLs, for example, and you put them in a crate, and they're in a crate for 10, 12 hours in a day. Not one day, not 2 days, but after several weeks to a month and a half, you got going, the dog may start developing cowhawks. And that's because he was built, or dogs in general, since they come from wolves, they were built to be moving around throughout the entire day. All of a sudden, you have now restricted their movement to this crate for 10 hours. Slowly but surely, their body starts seeing that they don't need to prioritize the muscle in the rear. And once that muscle starts being reappropriated anywhere else, once you lose it, now your dog has a weak rear. That's why cowhawks is one of the hardest things to correct once it's there. Yeah, people are going to tell you, yeah, you need to walk briskly up a hill and then come down slowly, and you could do that till you're blue in the face. I've never seen it fix. Okay, it helps. It improves. It's like Westy. All right, it's like Westy. You have a 6-month-old pup that's got Westy facing out at 45 degree. The best you could hope for is when he's full-blown adult, he's up to about 70 degree. You're not going to fix the full Westy. It's just not going to happen, especially if they were at 45 degrees at 6 months. Mm-hmm. My question would be, what were you doing 3 months ago? That's when you should start trying to fix this.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So people that do have to put their dogs in crates, I highly recommend, as soon as you get home, take your dog out, let them go to the bathroom and work them a little bit.
Yeah, I'm saying what's up to Miss Shatry. She's sending prayers and comforting for healing. I appreciate you. Thank you so much, Shatry. Yeah. Hollywood slipping. Yeah, man. But Ralph, my vet said to feed flour and corn. That's right. That's right, Adam Fields. That's right. Let me tell you guys, we have purposefully created an entire playlist. It's called Get Rid of Yeast Playlist. There is no way in one live or even one short that I can break down every scenario that could possibly be going on with your dog as far as their skin. But we have 22 videos in that playlist that break down and reinforce one on top of each other, explaining different things. Let me give you an example. My dog has allergies. What can I do? I always get a text. Oh, my dog, out of nowhere, for 3 years, he's never had anything, and now he's got a bald spot in the middle of his back. Okay. If you really read a question coming in like that, there's no way you can answer it. Is it the water? I've had people tell me, yeah, my dogs, they drink water from a well I got back here. Yeah, well, did you get that well water tested? No, it hasn't been tested. Now, how long has your dog has allergies? Oh, ever since he started drinking it. Well, no shit, Sherlock. Don't you want to get it tested? Because obviously there's some metals in that water that may be affecting your dogs. What I'm trying to get at, guys, is there's so many layers. So I'm going to give you a quick 5 things. 5 main allergies in dogs. Okay, top 2 are going to be protein, right? Let me break this down because I get the comments all the time, and y'all going to laugh at what I'm about to tell you. But here we go. First 2 allergens are protein. I don't care whether we're talking about chickens, dogs. I don't care. First 2 are always going to be protein. protein based, because that's where the main allergies are at, is in the proteins. So first two main allergies for dogs in protein is going to be beef and chicken. Beef and chicken. Oh, Raul, but I've seen you feed raw chicken to your dogs. Well, no shit, Sherlock. Maybe because my dog is allergic to that. I said it's a main allergen. I didn't say my dog is exclusively allergic to it. There's a big difference. All right. So I gave you the first two allergens. I'm going to give you three more, right? We're talking about wheat, corn, and soy, and they all do something different. Corn, the minute it hits your dog's bloodstream, it becomes sugar. Okay. Now remember, we just spoke a minute ago. If you're IGF-1, if your dog is growing a little too quick and you want to hit the brakes, go get yourself some sugar. I'm not saying, this is going to be a long-term fix, but it's definitely going to slow down the growth rate, right? Immediately, right? So get yourself some kibble with corn in there. But with wheat, as far as wheat is concerned, most allergens that are not protein-based come from wheat. A dog wasn't meant to eat a bowl of cereal. He was meant to eat a sheep or a rabbit or something, not a bowl of cereal. And last and certainly not least is soy. Soy, the reason soy is so destructive for dogs is because, first of all, if you're a dog breeder, show me a show of hands if you're a dog breeder. All right. If you're a dog breeder, soy emits or gives off, right, estrogen-like hormones. What happens is your female's body is saying, "Oh, well, estrogen hormones are high. We don't have to turn this on because we got high estrogen hormones." And now your female skips a heat, and you're over here scratching your head. Oh, what the hell happened? Well, did you read your bag? Does it say you're giving soy? Oh, yeah, it's right there. Well, there you go, Sherlock. You now have learned something. It cost 6 months and however much it would have cost, you could have gotten from selling the litter to learn that you don't feed your dog soy. That's one. Number two, soy has a particular type of protein that in older dogs, for whatever reason, makes them more propense to tumors and cancers. It feeds tumors and cancers exclusively. This is one main reason why you don't want to feed soy to your dog, especially if they're older, especially if they're an older female, especially if they're an older female who you have spayed. When you spay a female, their probability of getting cancer goes up, in case you didn't know that. Okay. Mm-hmm. And if you're out here feeding soy, and get ready for a vet bill. That's
the thing. I know I'm biased, right? But
shoot,
that's what you get here at QBN, man. You get the explanations, you get the backstory. Raul has done us all a favor and chased all this stuff down. And this is it for me, man. That's where I cut my teeth on this type of information, man. If you want to learn about dietary issues, go to the QBN page, go to the magnifying glass. You can type in keywords, and there's videos on everything. Yeah, it's going to pull up more than you can watch in a day on anything you can think of just about. So
thank you for bringing that up, Mike.
Yeah.
Willie says, do you think cat feed is the hardest trait to keep on an American Bully? Willie, I think it is a hard trait to keep, but I don't think it's the hardest. I think the hardest trait to keep on an American Bully. Can I get a drum roll, please?
I'm waiting on a drum roll.
He's over there picking his nose. Come on, man. All right. There we go. It's going to be a correct rear because you got so many variables. You can destroy a correct rear if you don't know what you're breeding to night and day. Do me a favor. If you have a correct rear, if you have a rear that's got the perfect rear angulation, got the perfect, it's got the slope on the croup, it's got everything perfect the way you need to have it. Do yourself a favor now. This is what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. All right. Any pup that is born that does not have a perfect rear, I would sell as pet quality, no papers. Do yourself a favor. Protect your brand. Just let me know. All right, we got Alberto Gonzalez. First time here. Good stuff, guys. Thank you, Alberto. Thanks for joining us, brother. We got Prater King Bullies. What's a fault you overlooked early in your career that taught you a hard lesson? Damn. Prater, that is one hell of a question, bro.
I like that question.
Man, look, the one rear, let me tell you the one fault I kept chasing my situation with at the time. One minor fault that kept coming up was a gay tail.
Gay tail.
So
I already know it.
I wasn't too thrilled about it, but it wasn't the end of the world. The one thing that caught me at the very beginning that I didn't like was Westy. It's just, I don't know, man. It's the first thing you see in a dog.
Something
right?
sexy about those clean feet, man.
Look, they don't even have to. Well, it just gives you the American Bully XL breeder mindset. We settle for non-perfect, right? It doesn't even have to be perfect. They just need to be straight, right? In the American Bully world, you have the XL world. You have a lot of mastiff influence. So you have a lot of these. I call them flippers because the front paw will flip and then land, and they're not even stepping on the padded area when they step. It's craziness. You can only see that with mastiffs. But yeah, man, the fronts to me is a big deal. I'm looking at the feet. I'm then looking at the pasterns. I'm going up to the elbows, which is a reason why I bring up elbow dysplasia. I brought up tonight. That's another big no-no when I see it. And then I look at the shoulder to chest ratio. Now, I have seen some dogs that have a shoulder to chest ratio that is off, but their legs are perfectly straight. Would you breed to that, Mike?
Yeah, like I said, rear mechanics is at the top of my list, but I like something that's very important for me in my program. I like to see good overall movement on a dog. So I'm looking at the gait. I'm looking at the front and back proportions, the 4-wheel drive. I don't like either one to be off if I can help it on front or rear.
Okay, but I'm saying the dog's front feet are perfect.
Yeah.
He just has more chest. He's got more chest than the shoulders can bear.
Yeah.
You still breed to that.
I don't care for that. I don't like that's what I'm saying. That's lopsided
Okay.
to me. And I prefer one that's 4-wheel drive, got a good balance of the front and rear mechanics.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. We have a question here from Christian Irajeta, and I think it's a good and it's a fair question. Knowing walking up a hill and coming down slowly won't work, but add restriction like weights to strengthen the rear. Would weight pulling fix cowhawks? Here's Christian, let me tell you, bro, your logic is on point. I can't go against it. But here's the problem you have. To create a situation where a dog has cowhawks, there's a lot of muscle that has to be reappropriated, okay? Or he hasn't exercised that rear for a very long time. So I can't give you an answer because I haven't fixed cowhawks with weight pulling. But my idea, where I'm thinking in my head, is probably the first 2 or 3 months of weight pulling is just to build up the dog to the point where they were before the cowhawk came into play. And then from that point on is where you're going to be adding weights. So I'm saying all that to say that more likely than not, for you to see real results to get your answer is going to take close to 6 months. I'm just saying. The other thing I will say is if the dog is showing cowhawks and they're less than a year and a half, there's still hope. because once their body matures, they're going to widen, and the accessory muscles in the rear may help and may help your circumstance. Help. I didn't say completely fix the problem. I said help. All right. So just throwing that out there.
The muscle, the spread of the chest and the muscles in the shoulders, when they turn a little bit in an adult dog, can correct east-west a little bit too. But just, it'll help. Like you said, it won't fix it. It'll help it.
Yeah, no, it's just, yeah, it won't fix. Let's see. Let's answer a question for a non-member. If you have a female with stiff stifles and using a tall dog with a koi to try to fix it with the height difference, what does the height difference needs to be? Okay, so Christian, you're leaving out information, my friend. You're saying a tall dog with a koi. Okay, all dogs have a koi. Can you tell me who has the lower koi? And I can tell you already whether that taller dog has a koi or not. Bringing in a taller dog where you're already having a stiff stifle situation, it's probably not going to be your fix.
Yeah, you're headed in the opposite direction. You need.
If anything, you need to come down to a standard, get your angulation, and then bring it up. Don't try that. That has been the biggest issue with American Bully XL breeders that I have seen for the better part of the 10 years that I've been breeding. And that is, you're trying to fix your problems up here with XLs, and you don't realize that the problem is up there within the XLs. I'm not saying all XLs, but a very great majority. If they have massive influence, what do you think is going to happen when you bring them together? That stuff is going to come out. It's going to show.
Yeah, for example, right here, the stiff stifles itself is a mastiff trait. And so the mastiffs have the narrow, tall, long rear with the stiff stifles.
Yes.
So you take that narrow, tall, elongated rear with stiff stifles and breed it to a taller dog. You see what that's like he said, you're going the wrong way on that.
Yeah, no. We have a question here from Prater saying, what fault would you accept short term if you help fix a more serious fault long term? All right, so more short term fixes would be minors, like a gay tail. Probably, as much as I hate to say it, anything going on in the pasterns, as long as it's not crazy. I can even accept a little east-west going on, as long as I know I can fix it. It's no big deal. A slight underbite, that's fixable, pretty fixable. What are my game breakers? What are my deal breakers? Length of the femur in the rear. If you're a little bit too long, I don't want to deal with your BS. I don't want to deal with any angulation issues going on in the rear. That's just, you're going to chase your tail. You're going to put 6 years of hard work into it. And then you're going to have 1 or 2 puppies running around that are fixed. Was it worth it? That's just my take on it, right? Somebody else might have a different take. Head. Okay.
Shape of the skull.
Yeah, the skull. You know how you have the crest, right? And then you have the occiput and you have the top skull. The top skull is one of those things that it's really hard for you to get. Okay. For those of you, if you're breeding and you got it, you don't ever get rid of it. A lot of times people get rid of it. They don't even know how. And the way you do is, if you have a dog with a correct top skull, don't try to fix a dog that's got an incorrect top skull. It's not going to happen. It's a recessive trait. They both have to have it. So what's going to happen is you have a good top skull. He's going to go into a bad top skull, and you're going to have a bunch of good top skull carriers that are not going to show anything. Okay. And then you better know how to breed those guys, because you already ruined the parent, right? You better know how to breed those guys so you can get the top skull back. Okay. So how do you keep the top skull from leaving your yard? You only breed perfect top skull to perfect top skull. That's it. Keep it there.
You really said something that I hope people caught. when you have something that's working in your favor within your program, when you make moves forward, you need to make sure that you're holding on to those things by breeding to something that furthers that line of said trait.
Yes.
You know, whether it be top skull or good rear mechanics or whatever it is, you want to make sure you're breeding to a dog that's not going to take it away from you, but add to it or continue it.
This is correct. And this is where a lot of people get mistaken, Mike. What you have an Excel that has a little bit of high rear, but you're going to take it to this other big, massive XL who has dysplastic elbows, and you really haven't seen his rear because they're only giving you a front shot. And you breed it together, and then, you know, you have a dog that's running around looking like so. And then now you're scratching your head. Because once you have a dog that's looking like this, my question to you is, how much is that stud owner going to help you sell that puppy? Stud owner got paid for studying his dog.
Nobody likes to spend money and waste it, right? There are times, if you're getting into this as a breeder, there are times where you make moves in the moment and you get down the line and realize that you made a bad decision. You have to make an adjustment. But you can't. There's some things that are better to replace than fix, for sure. On a scale of time and just the progression of your program. Sometimes you say, you know, hey, we hope that this was whatever, and it's not, so we're going another route. And that happens all the time. And you know, it's hard because, like you've talked about on this show many times over the years, it's like most guys are selling, or gals, either one, selling their significant other on to, like, look, we're going to spend 20, 30 grand on these dogs, you know, boom, bam. Next thing you know, we're going to make some money. They're going to be X amount per pup, and
right.
And it doesn't work like that.
That's the dream. That's the dream. You sell yourself, right?
That's it.
Christian Duncan is saying she's a taller standard, about 16 inches. Was going to breed her to a dog 2 inches taller, 18 inches, with a higher koi. Asking if that's a good option. Christian, just taking it at face value, more likely than not, it's not a good idea. Because when you're taking her to a bigger dog, if her stifles are already stiff, think about this, buddy. Think about this. What's going to give me more curve? This right here or this right here? What's going to give me more of a curve? Well, obviously, the shorter bone. Right now, you need more curvature. Let me bring up. I'm over here talking. I don't even have the decency to bring this up. Let me bring this up real quick, Mike, so I could explain this a little better. So, thank you, Kyle. So we're dealing with this right here. That's the stifle. Okay, that's the stifle. So just hold that picture in your mind for 1 second, because right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and look up a stiff stifle, so you can see exactly what I'm talking about, because I don't want to lose anybody on this. This is pretty important. American Bully. Here you go. Stiff stifles, right? So check it out, right? Look at that. My video's coming up. All right, so let's go here. Okay, so this is what a stiff stifle or a straight stifle, this is what he's talking about. So if you have a dog that has this, okay, it usually means that their femur, which is a bone that's going right here, right? Right before the stifle, that femur a lot of times is a little bit too long. And because it's long, it doesn't allow for there to be curvature. Okay. So taking it to another dog that has even a longer leg, okay, that's going to have longer bones, is not necessarily going to fix this. Okay. If anything, okay, and I know this is too simple of an explanation, but you want to take it to a dog that's its size, that has the correct angulation, because what you're really looking for here is for that femur to be made smaller, not longer, because longer is what's causing your problem, if that makes any sense. Okay, so that's the reason why, if you want to fix that stifle, let me bring it up here again. If you're trying to fix this stifle, right, going longer is not necessarily going to give you more curvature. If you want curvature, you need to find a shorter dog. But don't just go get fixated on the curvature. Make sure the dog that you're looking for has this little slope right here. This little slope coming down right here, right there, right? Because you may get a dog that has the right curvature here or angulation, but over here they might have a roach on the back, or this right here may be a little taller, which would make it high rear. And then at the end of the day, you're really not even fixing a problem. You're just kind of pushing it. You're kind of kicking the can, so to speak. So let me see what other. Yeah, you want to go shorter with the angle. That is correct. Christian says, I remember one live, I guess I was talking about, you brought up an XL to a pocket to get certain traits like a perfect rear. Does this fall in the same subject? It can. This is, I like the fact that you're bringing up this question, Christian. So here's the deal. You can breed a pocket to an XL, okay? But there are going to be some boxes you need to check. First thing you need to check is that neither dog, right? Let me see. Yeah, here we go. Neither dog can have a high rear. So let's just say, for discussion's sake, I found an XL that looks very similar to this, and I also found a pocket that is similar to that. I would breed that. That wouldn't be a problem for me to breed. Okay? Where the problem starts coming in is if you have a pocket that has a high rear and you have an XL that has a correct rear, do you breed that? My answer is no. Rear assembly has more variables than the front has. Rear assembly can screw up what's going on with your back. Rear assembly can screw up what's going on with your front. So I don't want to mess around with rear assembly. Now, I get what you're saying, because I have said that I want to make XLs that look like pockets, or the breed type is more like pockets. I get it, man, and I stand behind that. But you got to make sure that neither dog is looking like this, right? If you're going to breed a pocket to an XL, they better have a top line that is looking like that. Mm-hmm. Okay, this is why I'm breeding this boy Hector. He's not an XL, by the way. He's a standard, but he's taller than my girl, Sunshine. Okay, but there's a reason why I'm going to go ahead and breed him to Sunshine. And that's because Sunshine doesn't have anything funky going on with her rear whatsoever. So you bring them together. That's how you make it fit. Where we start getting our asses caught on the door is, oh, my dog has a slight, or she has an evident stiff stifles. Let's go ahead and breed taller. Why would you do that? What little curvature you had there, you're just going to do away with it.
The sad truth is, Raul, that and it's understandable. People see the breed, they love the breed, they jump out here and they want to get an American Bully, and they get caught up in the hype. The first thing they clickbait on and get caught into, and they're like, here's my dog. I get this dog. And
right.
And now they own an American Bully before they know anything about breed type or anything at all. And then they decide they want to breed, and they're trying to build a program off this dog that they might as well have bought in the blind. And
yes,
and that's the issue, man.
You couldn't hit it. You couldn't hit it any better, Mike. You know what I've noticed from most new breeders is that they really don't know what the hell they want until they're 3 or 4 years into it. Mm-hmm. Because typically the first dog they get is not even what they really want. They really don't know what they want until that dog becomes an adult. And usually when that dog becomes an adult, they're going to have a flaw that you're going to have to try and fix. And it's in that chasing around that you start figuring out really, really what it is that you want. You know, this is why
you have to have a little bit of trial and error. That's the thing. Like I said a minute ago
yeah.
about, you know, whoever you sold on it only going to cost X amount of dollars and blah, blah, blah. You know, I did 2 years of research before I ever even considered getting a dog. I was all over this platform, all over the breed. And still, once I started getting dogs, I learned some things that I couldn't learn until I had my hands on it. So there's
This,
there's a learning curve that you can't get around. You're gonna bump your head a little bit.
yeah.
You just have to pick up your pieces, man, and learn
No,
the best you can.
I got to agree with you, Mike. I have sat here and said 100 times, you know, why are you buying from a big breeder? I get it. People like to have an accessory because that's how they see a lot of our dogs is as an accessory. And they want the name. Oh, it's Gucci. Oh, it's whatever the name is. And I get it, man. And it's human nature. And sometimes it pisses me off as a breeder. But in reality, man, I'm a human being just like you guys were. And when I got my first dog, I ain't going to lie, I was impulsive just like everybody else was. But I learned my lesson after that, right? From getting banged in the head. So all I'm saying is a lot of times we all jump in. And then once we're in the water and we're learning how to swim, then we realize, you know, what type of dog it is that we truly are looking for. Adam Field says he's still looking for a correct female. Christina Higginson, and it has also evolved over the years as well. Oh, okay. She's saying that QBN is known for correct and great rears. Thank you, Miss Christina. I will tell you guys this, and I'll leave you with this before we head on out. And I'm not sitting here saying we have the best rears or anything like that. But I will say this. One of the best things you could do for your camp in your yard is gaining by eliminating. If you eliminate a weak rear from coming into your camp, you already won. You can't lose. You can't. If you're beating 2 good rears, you're not going to get a bad rear. Okay? But think about it this way, guys. A lot of us are looking like, if you have a good rear, let's breed it to a bad rear so we can make the bad rear better. That's almost like saying we have a boat that floats and one that's sinking. Okay. Why don't we get some of the holes from the one that's sinking? Let's put it on this one here so we could both sink slowly, right? Because you're not going to float. So my whole point is let's try to breed better rather than improve breeding. Okay. If you're improved breeding, you have to have 6 or 8 years ready to just give to whatever it is that you're trying to improve. Okay. Nobody here has a perfect dog. And, you know, there may be some dogs that are strong in some areas and weak in others. What you don't want to do is I have this dog that he's 9 out of 10 out of these 10, you know, these 10 things, but this one thing he's weak. I'm going to dedicate the rest of my breeding career to fixing this. You know, I don't suggest that. That's one of the.
I think you said something good for us to close on there. You know, that I just realized looking at the other side of what you just said. It seems like it is the fact that some traits you can only take away from by doing a breeding. You can keep it or take away from it. When you already have it, you can only lose it. And then there are some traits that you do breedings to improve. Rear mechanics is one of those things. You can't breed to a dog with a weaker rear end and try to fix the good rear end you already have. You're going to lose.
No,
You know, you could breed to a dog with a good tail, to a dog with a gay tail, and get dogs with better tails. So there are some that you can move forward by doing a breeding to bring in something, but there's some things you can only lose, and rear mechanics is one of those things. If you have it, you better make sure you keep it.
exactly. I appreciate you saying that, Money Mizike. Let me bring in my dude from the back, Hollywood. What is going on, Hollywood? You've been sleeping in the back, man. You all right, Hollywood?
Yeah, I'm busy back here. I got all kind of stuff going on, man.
Not much, man. Hollywood, man, what do you think about tonight's live? Give a shout out to people. Talk to me, man.
Good, man. I thought it was good. A lot of good questions, a lot of good interacting. I see a lot of new people in here. If y'all like the live, man, come join us. I'm dropping membership links. Only $5 a month. You can't beat it. Get your questions answered. You get all kind of good perks whenever you become a member. So definitely check it out.
Close it out, Hollywood.
It's your boy Hollywood Holland, your boy in the back of the queue, and we're catching you on the next one.
Michael Higgins, son.
Michael Higginson with Creekbank Kennel, man. Co-host with the most. Miguelito Hernandez. Money Mike. Catching y'all on the next one.
Hey, from Miguelito and Kile. No, not Killer. Kile. Kyle in Spanish. Kile and me. Hey, man, I want to thank you guys for joining us tonight. We want to wish all of you a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. Make sure to stay safe and make sure to breed better. It's been Raul from the Q, and I'll be catching you next week at 8 p. CST.
We are going for a whole hour. Straight dog talk and the song. Jump on in and speculate. Show up on time, don't be weak and late. We are community, so don't hate.